On August 6, 2024, Escalation of Freedom was released for Helldivers as a major update. Now, whenever you utter the words Escalation of Freedom to any Helldivers 2 veteran out there, it's like a Winter Soldier moment, a personal 9/11 for them. Perhaps even worse than when the Illuminate attacked Super-Earth. For those unaware, Escalation of Freedom did a lot of bad stuff. And it didn't help that there was even more bad stuff piled up from even more previous bad stuff. However, even after all that, it refused. The developers quickly, albeit temporarily, pulled their heads out of their asses and started the 60-day patch, which in a nutshell reverted all the negative changes to the guns from previous updates that no one liked. Now, some of it released in Helldivers, only about 20% of the arsenal was viable to use. If you would have picked anything else but the meta weapons back then, you'd be solely regretting your decision within 5 minutes of your gameplay. After the 60-day patch and many other updates between then and now, the number of viable weapons has skyrocketed back to 60%. It's still better than 20, but there are still some weapons in game that are just not worth taking if you play on difficulties above level 6. Unfortunately, for the sake of my mental health, I will not be discussing support weapons. Apart from like the AMR, I'll just be slandering primaries, as those are often heavily overshadowed by support weapons simply because they're not as flashy or deemed important enough. Now, our primaries should not be able to do everything, so it would become arbitrary to bring a support weapon. But when the Dust Devils Warband dropped a few weeks back with the Coyote AR, the majority of the player base was shivering in their boots at the thought of Arrowhead nerfing an actually viable AR they released since forever, which was a genuine possibility at the time. We all feared that when a new patch comes, that our new toy would be struck down just for trying to compete with the big dogs like the Eruptor and the Purifier. Thankfully, that hasn't happened, and Arrowhead instead said, nah, we'll look into the other ARs rather than nerfing the Coyote. Truly a blessing from the Lord of Managed Democracy. However, the Coyote did spark a discussion about the other weapons, because the current meta for primaries are like Eruptor, Crossbow, Purifier, Cookout, and the Diligence, and while there are obviously other weapons picked, these are by far the most viable primary weapons in game. Unfortunately, that's about 5 guns out of 42. Now, not all guns are bad compared to the 5. All guns are equal. However, some are just more equal than others. The weapons I'll be talking about right now aren't inherently bad, but they're more likely in an odd state due to a recent balance change, or the existence of another weapon, or they're simply not working as intended. The M90A shotgun. I like to call it the nostalgia bait. The standing issue right now is the not so good ammo economy. The damage is fine, it's good, but with the spread of a half choke Punisher, it's just subpar. For a weapon behind a 1500 supercredit warband, it's My current proposal for this weapon is to increase its accuracy, so it's perhaps even more accurate than the full choke Punisher, and of course give it more ammo. The SG-8P Punisher Plasma. The damage is currently, and ever since I knew it, actually, bugged. In its current glitch state, it only applies projectile damage, not splash for whatever reason, meaning it's just straight up not dealing most of its damage. Whenever I run this weapon, I'm cursing myself for not taking the Purifier instead. The SG-225 SP Breaker Spray and Pray. I genuinely have nothing to say about this gun. There is just no reason to take this over the normal breaker, or even better, the incendiary one, especially considering that the normal breaker in the weapon customization update got a drum mag. The SG-8S Slugger. Oh boy, this one is quite interesting. All the Slugger offers is more ammo in the chamber, which is pretty much nullified once you learn the art of spamming reload whenever you shoot. Slower projectile, same stagger, worse damage, no scope, and not as accurate. Do you know what I'm comparing it to? The Deadeye. The Deadeye is the Slugger, but better, in every single aspect. ESG-20 Halt. You genuinely can walk up to a Devastator as close as in-game possible and still 1 or 2 pellets will miss. Stagger is quite competent, but yeah, it's just not as good as the regular Punisher in my book. I'd rather kill than stun. My personal advice for making this just a tad bit better is make it more accurate, especially considering that it has no customization options. MA5C Assault Rifle. It's on par with the Adjudicator. Again, it's locked behind a 1500 supercredit war bond. You cannot aim down sights with it, it was pretty much murdered by the Coyote, and again, it's a crossover weapon, meaning keep dreaming about being able to customize it anytime soon. AR-23 Liberator Penetrator. Another victim taken by the Coyote. It unfortunately doesn't offer anything which the Coyote cannot do but better. It has worse damage, and it has less ammo, and the only thing I think it has over the Coyote is a drum mag, but that's about it. The StA-52 Assault Rifle. Again, it's a crossover weapon, so no customization, and before the weapon customization update came out, it served as the Liberator, but with more ammo. Oh well. AR-32 Pacifier. It was murdered by the 300% status effect fix. My baby, my sweet baby, alongside the actually pathetic damage. Before you were able to stun berserkers and such in about 3 shots, a burst. Now you kill them before they even get stunned. The AR-23C Liberator Concussive. I cannot think of a reason to take this over literally anything else, even the base Liberator, which is actually pretty good on the bots at least. Maybe it's fun, sure, but it just isn't a serious weapon, it's a shitpost weapon. The SMG-72 Pummeler, again. First degree murder, the 300% status effect fix. I used to run this with the shield on bots, but when it kills targets before it even gets to stun them, there is no reason to take it over the normal Defender. The SMG-37 Defender. The only good thing this weapon has for itself is the customization. Other than that, it's just not worth to run over the likes of the Knight and the StA. Hell, even the M7S. M7S SMG. The suppressor doesn't do anything, that's about it. It's an okay weapon, it has good recoil, it's better than the StA in my opinion, and certainly better than the Defender, but if that's all it has to offer for a 1500 supercredits war bond, yikes. StA-11 SMG. It's the M7S for poor people. It has no customization because it's a crossover weapon, and it's on par with the M7S and the Knight. The R2124 Constitution. All this weapon would need is a stripper clip. Like, there is no reason we don't have those, especially since the Senator has them. Give the Constitution stripper clips and it's gonna be actually pretty good. Class 39 Accelerator Rifle. It's just bad. Even after its buff, like, it's pitiful. No customization, the damage is horrible, the ammo economy is just bad. Like, I'm sorry, it's just bad. I don't even know, like, what to do to make it better. For the last and not least, an honorable mention, the AMR. This is a fascinating case for me, and especially because I really like the concept of the weapon. The main issue of it is, for some reason, the Hellpod AMR and the wild ones, I mean like from the bunkers or cargo containers or found in the cities, they have different statistics. For some fucking reason, the wild ones have better ergonomics. And also, this thing seriously needs a buff like AP5. And you cannot tell me, but Mike, real 50 cal bullets aren't made to penetrate armor. The Senator. Yeah, do we remember that handgun? The handheld handgun? That has the same armor penetration value as the 50 cal anti-material rifle. I do not know what the Senator shoots precisely, if it's a 357 or a 44. Look at the size difference. That's genuinely coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. And that would be about it. This is just a short video of me calling out Arrowhead's bullshit. Now, if I didn't love the game, I wouldn't be bothering doing this. I would just leave, I would uninstall it, I would forget about it. But I truly want this game to return back to its glory days of actually working on my computer. Yes, the game is in a horrible state, and yes, I know they confirmed they're looking into it, but words mean nothing, action does. I believe Arrowhead will sort all of this sooner rather than later, especially the technical depths, but the issue of realism is quite painful, especially when realism only applies negatively towards us, the Helldivers, the players. The first Helldivers game was from top to down shooter, utilizing only the horizontal plane. Now it's a fully fledged 3D shooter with a very limited ability to scale up and down terrain, with us being heavily restricted on where we can or cannot go. Our enemies effortlessly scale up walls and the steepest of hills like Italian mountain goats, while we cannot climb up a rock. We cannot put sentries on high grounds because the stratagems balls just bounce back. We are restricted to maneuver our hellpods when the game determines it would be unfair for us to do so, which is 90% of the time. We are slowed down by bushes and water and everything in our way while our enemies remain unbothered. It kinda sucks because Arrowhead definitely has, at least recently, a different vision for their game, it being more of a military sim and realistic grunt fantasy. While the community at the start was served a product that said wield overpowered weapons and survive against impossible odds. Thankfully, Helldivers is a truly amazing game, perhaps the best game I've ever played. The community, the developers, everything is genuinely perfect. However, there are going to be hiccups, but democracy's approach can only be slowed, never fully stopped. Keep on diving.